Hi, I'm Mike Kaiser, owner of Isotut Publisher, and today we're going to talk about Amazon, Author Central page. Hopefully all of our authors had created their author page on Amazon. And then you can select books, and then on the book tab, you will have add more books, so you find every book that you're author of, and it'll be listed here on your page. Profile is where you can add in biography, blogs, events like at Barnes & Noble or at any event that you participate in. Put them in here. That way people that find your author page on Amazon would know where you are for book signings. You can put in your photos of events, videos that you have that's on YouTube. You have a post from Twitter. Now the most important thing is sales info. Give it a second to upload. There's two things here on this left hand side: weekly sales and sales by geography, and then your sales rank over time. Over here on the right hand side, one copy was sold between 5/12 to 5/18. This is my author page on Amazon, so there's one copy that's sold, and then it shows how many copies has sold from prior to current week. If sales went up or sales went down, it'll say from the week before, the date on top. This is book scan highlights, which is from Nelson's book data scans. Every time a book is sold through Amazon or Barnes & Noble and a couple other sites are listed here. Now, since we're in weekly sales, it shows one copy that is sold and then it shows which books have that are selling. Then you can just kind of uncheck total sales and then just say, well, how many. Then you check on your titles and it'll show how many sales and when from the very first time that your book became available for sales. It shows from the very first day to current date. And you can uncheck one title, check on another title, and it'll show you when. This is weekly sales. Right here it shows the current week that we are in from May 7th, 2012 through current week. And you can select which week you want. If you want just to show 4 weeks or all, when you click all, that goes from the beginning of your book sales when it became available. Like mine, I'm always listing all, so it goes from day 1 to current. And total units sold. This gets updated based on here. It goes from 1 week to week to week to week, 7 days, from Sunday to Sunday, or if it's like Monday through Monday. I have to look at the date to double check. I would just scroll back over here, click on sales by geography. That shows a map of the United States. Does not show Alaska and does not show Hawaii. Of course, just the United States. Does not show Canada or Mexico. Right here on the bottom of the map it says copies sold. 0 for the white area. As you can see, 0 copies. The blue end areas, light blue, medium blue, dark blue, it'll say 1 copy, and then 3 copies, which will match right here. Now, the map is divided into regions. All the states and parts of states are highlighted with diagonal lines through them. All these states and parts of states makes up one region. So if it says 6 copies, like mine is shows 6 copies, that's 6 copies all together of all these states and parts of states. So that does not mean 6 copies in this region, does not mean 6 copies in this region, or this region, and so on. That's 6 copies total of all these states and parts of states with diagonal lines. Also, scroll back over here a little. Combined area, 6 copies. That's total 6 copies. All these states and parts of states combined. That makes 6 copies. Not 6 copies per area. Just 6 copies total. Why? That's because there's not that many population in those areas. So Nelson's Bookscan is not gonna say there's only like 1 copy in this section and 1 copy in that section. They just add all sales in these regions into one combination. That's why it says combined area. If there's sales in a particular area of the states, like here, Denver, Colorado, 1 copy sold of one of my books. And this other area, since it's white, of course when you put your cursor over it, turns orange. They all turn orange, except for the combined areas. So yeah, 1 copy sold there, another 1 copy sold there in Los Angeles, and it tells you right here, 3 copies sold in New York, and it highlights it for you, and then it shows 2 copies sold in another area. And if your book is selling through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, it will be listed here. 1 copy, 2 copies, 5 copies, 800 copies if it's been sold through the Amazon or Barnes & Noble. But if you want to know what copy has sold, which it does not tell you here, it just says 3 copies. So if you have 3 books, 3 titles, you're not going to know which book sold in which area. It's just going to give you total sales. But if you want to know which one had sold, then you have to go back over here to weekly sales. And then it will tell you 1 copy sold between this week time frame. And it's always going to be a week, 7 days. That's how Nelson's Bookscan records all sales week to week, and it displays it right here on your Amazon Author Central page. And like I said, you had to uncheck total sales and then just check your title, and then it'll show you March 2014, 1 sold. Of course, this one would not be seen until the following end of the week, as they're always like a week behind. And then you can, like I said, you can select, I see 52 weeks from today's date back 52 weeks, or from today's date 24 weeks, or you can say you want to see all from day 1 that your book was available for sale, and it will show you 4 copies sold, and so on. Rank is a little confusing for a lot of people. Again, you can select all, or you can select 2 weeks from today's date back 2 weeks, or back a month, back 6 months, back a year, or all from the day 1. People get confused on sales rank. Sales rank is a popularity of your book in that particular genre, subgenre, subcategory, and all it can take is one sale of your book to put that particular book sales rank from 1 million down to 30,000. But if your book doesn't sell and someone else's book sells for the same genre, same category, subcategory, and therefore your book will go from 30,000 with one book sale. Even with another book sale, it can go down to 80,000 because another author's book that is similar to yours might sell 2 copies. So theirs would take 30,000 spot, where yours would go down to 80,000 spot in the sales rank. Sales rank changes every hour. So if your book sells 1 hour, sells one book in this particular hour, and doesn't sell a copy the next hour, then your sale rank will fall down from 30,000, 50,000, the next hour 60,000. Sometimes they can stay in the same rank for days, weeks, because no one else's book is selling. So yeah, your rank can stay at the same amount, say 30,000 for a week, and then all of a sudden they can drop down to 1 million. It's only a popularity rank. It has nothing to do with the bestsellers rate, like New York Times bestsellers. New York Times bestsellers is based again on sales rank week to week, which goes from Friday, Saturday. I'll explain that a little more. Friday midnight, that goes into Saturday morning, to the following Friday midnight to Saturday morning. And Nelson's Book Scans takes account of all those sales and sends it to New York Times bestsellers. So, again, that's from 1 week to the next week, 7 days. And that's how you read your Author Central on Amazon. Also, with looking at the sales by geography, you can see where people are buying your book. Again, this is my map. Your map will be different, but your map will always have these combined areas that are highlighted. That's only because there's not that many populations in these particular areas of these states. So Nelson's combines all the sales in these areas into one sales report. The only way to know where your book sells outside these regions is to look here. 1 copy for Los Angeles for me, one of my copies. Of course, it doesn't tell you until you do your other search, which is looking at the weekly sales rank. Now your total count will always be going up or down, and is based on from the day 1. So there's been 22 copies sold through Amazon, Barnes & Noble total for the last 2 years. Individual states that is highlighted in white, that gets changed into blue when there's sales. So when there's a sale in this particular part of Albuquerque, New Mexico, there's a sale, it would turn blue, and then it would have how many copies have sold in that particular region. So if you're doing a lot of Facebook, Twitter, Google announcing, blogging, this here will show you where people are buying your book, and you can see if anyone on your Facebook is in these particular areas. And then that way you can focus more on those areas, or even widen to go try and find people on your Facebook, Twitter, Google that's in these other areas that hasn't bought your book yet. So it's more of a way to focus your sales seeing where people are buying your book, how many are being sold in these particular regions. So for my first video, I think that's it. I think I covered everything. And if someone returns your book, it would say down -1, and your count here would change from 22 down to 21. If someone returned a book, like 5 copies, and if it said 22, and someone returns your book, or 5 people return your book, this count will go down to like 21, 20, 18 when people return your book. This is printed book sales. This has nothing to do with ebook sales, just printed. Thanks for listening, and look for another video soon.